Hey you. This is kind of like a video for artists. And when I say artists, I mean people who are artists of song, people who are artists of words, like myself. I write poetry, nonfiction. People who are painters, I guess they call it studio art. People who are play instruments, people who draw, whatever. Like if you create any form of art in whatever medium, this video I feel like it could be appreciated by you. So um I wanted to talk about revisiting art. And I know I like read a lot of books and I watched a lot of documentaries when I was younger. And that goes for nonfiction and, movies that I watched and fiction novels that I read. And as I come back to them now that I'm 20 years old and I'm a little bit more educated, um, and when I say educated, I don't mean according to the American slash white standard. I mean actually educated, okay? Um, I can appreciate the things that when I go back and I read these things, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't catch that, right? I have a greater eye for things now. Just become a more of an artist. You appreciate things more, like, excuse me, listening to music and revisiting albums that I used to listen to back in the day. I'm like, what? Seriously? I didn't catch that. I didn't hear that or whatever. Um, Just crazy. So, specifically what I want to talk about is John Singleton. And I watched Baby Boy last night and how just superb the movie was and how you can enjoy it. But I think people who have an eye for art, people who are artists can enjoy art more than, people who don't really fuck with art like that. Because when you create, you really pay a lot of attention to detail and nuances and techniques and images. I know as a poet, I pay attention to rhythms and line breaks and answerness and alliteration. And what are you feeling? What are the images that you're picturing in your head? Is this authentic to emotion? Is this something that people can relate to? If everybody can relate to it, can, people fairly relate to it because it's authentic? I'm trying to transport emotions via paper with words. So, I'm paying a lot of attention to what the hell I'm saying. So when you pay that much attention to detail and you devote yourself to your craft on that level, you start to appreciate the details that other artists, no matter what medium they perform in, you start to appreciate the details that they put into their work. I'm able to appreciate music a lot more because my LP is a musician. I call her artist of song. She writes songs, she raps, she co-produces beats. She does all kind of stuff. So I call her artist of song just because I feel like musician is a little bit too limiting. Like I don't call myself a poet. I call myself an artist of words because I feel like I'm not just a poet. I write other things too. So since I've been friends with her, I've been able to appreciate music a lot more. And, just being an artist and learning from other artists and learning to pay attention to detail and having an eye for the things that people typically don't appreciate, it's just been a very good experience. So, taking all of that into account, I went and I watched Baby Boy last night and I was able to appreciate it so much more. Like I was saying previously before I derailed, if you're the typical person, that don't really, appreciate all the detail and thought and nuances that goes into art, then you can still enjoy Baby Boy, which was starring Taraji P. Henson and Tyrese Gibson. It came out in 2001. Now, I watched it when I was about 9 years old. Mind your business, okay? I was a child. I used to do and watch the movies and stuff that I wasn't supposed to be watching as a child. Um, but of course, I was a 9 year old. I couldn't really appreciate anything. I was just like, oh crap, oh, ooh, ooh, oh, it got real. But now that I'm 20 years old and I'm a creative writing major and an artist, I can appreciate the music and the acting from the casting to the music to the transition to the comic relief, excuse me, to like the script itself, the things that they would say and the way the scenes would unfold. Oh my God, John Singleton is a freaking genius, okay? And then let's not even talk about his other movies. He directed Shaft, he directed Boys in the Hood, he directed Too Fast, Too Furious, he directed Rosewood with Ving Rhames, he directed, I mean, he's directed a lot of good movies. Um, so I mean, the movie when I went back and I watched it, and I was like, oh shit, me and LP gotta watch this. So when I go see LP this summer, me and LP gonna watch that damn movie. I hope she hasn't seen it because like we need to watch it together. So I basically was able to. That's basically revisit art, especially if you're an artist or whatever. Just revisit art. I'm thinking about going and revisiting a lot of novels that I tried to read in the past, but I couldn't really appreciate it. Like Alice Walker. I remember I tried to read her when I was like 12. Then I tried to read again when I was like 17. And, even in that gap, I was able to appreciate it more. I was like, oh, okay. And so, maybe I might try to read her again and I'll appreciate her even more now. I definitely want to go back and try to appreciate Toni Morrison because I remember not liking her because I was like, what the hell is going on? And, I want to go back and try to revisit Toni Morrison. I bought, for colored girls, who have considered Suicide When the Rainbow Isn't Enough by, I'm gonna just say her last name because I can't pronounce, I don't want to fuck up and disrespect her first name. Her last name is Shange. And I read it and I read like one of them and I was like, oh, okay, I can understand this now. So I'm gonna read that this summer. Also, I'm going to read Killing the Black Body. Let me just get the book off the shelf. These are the books I'm going to be reading this summer. For colored girls who considered Suicide When the Rainbow Wasn't Enough by this woman, because I can't say her name. And Killing the Black Body by Dorothy Roberts. Race, Reproduction, and the Meaning of Liberty. And it talks about things like yeah, I'm not gonna fuck it up because I didn't read it and I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm not gonna read the synopsis. But it talks about basically how America has abused the black woman's body and tried to lower reproduction within the black female population from slavery until now. So yeah. Oh fuck. Through my cup of water spilled. Um So I have a lot of other stuff on my bookshelf that I may want to read, but really I'm focusing on performing spoken word poetry this summer. I'm focusing on writing poetry and I'm focusing on working and working out in the gym because I'm trying to get my body right. Body right. Okay. So back to the John Singleton movie. Let's talk about casting right quick. If you know anything about the movie, Tupac was supposed to play Jody, but he passed away. And that's how Tyrese Gibson ended up playing Jody in the movie. Now, Tyrese Gibson did a wonderful job. Let's not take nothing away from him, but let's talk about how things would have been different, in my opinion, had Tupac played the role. I think that was, for the most part, good casting on John Singleton's part. And I know people hire casting directors, but I also know that the director of the movie has a say in who most of it, is it's the teamwork between the director and the casting director. So let's just talk about how genius that would have been. Because first of all, Tupac and the woman that played Jody's mom, the character's name was Juanita Simmons. She was also in School Days. I cannot remember her actual name. Something is in my throat. Um, they would have looked very much alike actually. And that would have been well because Tupac had a nose ring, she had a nose ring. They were both slender and had the same kind of jawline. Like they actually look very much alike now that I think about it. Um, but I just feel like Tupac was, a good actor, but I think it actually worked out better with Tyrese Gibson because Ty- Tupac, I just I feel like if Tupac would have played the role, then Ving Rhames could have stayed as the mom's boyfriend, and then the woman that played the mom could have stayed. That would have fitted, with the Jodie storyline. But I feel like Omar Epps couldn't have played Jodie's friend, and then you would have had to take Taraji P Henson out as the girlfriend because there's just something about Taraji P Henson's character would have been too soft against. Well, Taraji P Henson, like her aura and like her, phenotype and her the body and how she presents, it would have been too soft against Tupac, who had at the time a very edgy, roughneck presentation. And I think Tyrese Gibson has a softer phenotype. Um, like he still had that thug, that roughneck appeal, but he still had that softness that was believable. And unless maybe it could have worked if Tupac would have really broke through another layer of acting ability. But I just think that you would have had to change the the character. You would have had to recast Yvette and what's his name? What was Jodie's friend name? Was it P? You would have had to recast P, who was played by Omar Epps, which is a really good actor. I don't think he gets enough roles. I wish he would get more roles because I love him. But anyway, yeah. So Baby Boy is genius. I can't wait to go to Africa this summer so me and LP can watch it. But yeah. So revisit art, and if even if you're not an artist, take time to pay more attention to art. When you listen to a song, actually listen to what they're saying. When you listen to a song, actually listen to the beats and the melody. When you read a poem, like slow down and read and look at the words and picture the image and pay attention to what it's making you feel and appreciate the line breaks and the breaking stanzas and transitions and emotions and all of that. And when you look at a painting, look at the gradients, look at the different hues, and look at. I'm not an artist, a studio artist, so I can't really tell you everything to look at, but just really, you know who's a fucking great, awesome artist? Maya Bailey. Okay, he's a superb tattoo artist, and he's an awesome ass artist on canvas. Now, one, he's an awesome artist. But two, when you look at his art as a stoner, also I'm not really on that level of stoning yet. Me LP trying to work me up there. I'm at the level where I could kind of. At first, I was tapping out after like 3, 4 hits. But now it's like I could roll with the big dogs. I could smoke like half a blunt by myself. And I was trying to graduate to a whole blunt, but she had to go head back home before we could get that popping. But as a baby stoner, I know a stoner when I see one. And by looking at his art, you can tell that he smokes weed, okay? And I'm not exposing him or disrespecting him because, like he said, he doesn't hide the fact that he smokes weed. There's nothing wrong with smoking weed. But for those of you who believe that it's disrespectful for me to be discussing it, I had to clarify that. But Maya Bailey, oh my God, my next tattoo, bro. I'm getting a tattoo for my birthday, and hopefully he'll be in Atlanta, and hopefully I can get an appointment scheduled with him. He has to ink me. One of the people that work in his tattoo house did this for me. This was done by Cake. I think her Instagram name is either Live Love Cake or Love Live Cake, one of those two. She tattoos August Alsina. You have to, if you live in the Atlanta area or you're going to be coming through Atlanta, go to City of Ink. I always try to put my money in black pockets. When I got my tongue pierced, well, when I got my tattoo done there, my black money in black pockets. Because really, if you believe in black power in a capitalist setting, power is money. So if you want to empower black people, put your money in black pockets, okay? But that's a whole nother video. I could have went to Colo, which is I think it's white owned. It's a piercing shop in Little Five Points when I got my tongue pierced. But instead, I took my ass to City of Ink because I wanted to put my money in black pockets. So, what else did I have to say? Yeah, he has thanked me. But I'm gonna end this video because I think I went over the time limit and I probably won't be able to upload it on YouTube. But kisses.